Okay, first of all, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I love inspirational speeches and messages, but I will tell you, even in my football playing days, I had a coach, I'm not going to actually name that coach, but I had a coach who, he'd come in at halftime, he'd scream and yell, he'd try to get us fired up. And it was great, but the problem was we went out into the second half, more excited, more fired up than ever, and just made the same mistakes with more intensity. Okay. So sometimes it's not motivation that you need, it's a change of direction. Okay. I will also raise the point when it comes to expectations of customers. You all know that you experience it every day. But what used to be considered just probably a year ago, exceeding expectations to your customers today is simply meeting their expectations. Not that you're not working as hard, it's just their expectations change. So what was, killing it a year or 2 years ago is now just reasonable service. And the minute it becomes reasonable service, they start looking elsewhere if there's not a way you're holding on to them. So the real question is, how do we maintain? How do we hold on? Not only how do we grow, but how do we grow with the ones we already have? Sometimes it's not new customers who come through. It's just the customers we have right now, expanding what we do with them. Now, I bring this up because many of you had to take a risk to be in the position you're in right now. So risk-taking is just part of your DNA. That's why I love talking to groups like this. But I'm going to really challenge you today to not get complacent in risk-taking. Because in this changing environment we're living in, what used to work may not work anymore. Even if it was phenomenal in the past. I had a friend of mine who said it this way. He said, man, unfortunately, yesterday's home runs don't win tomorrow's games. Here's one thing I want you also to understand about potential. Potential's a lot like muscle in the body. It must be challenged to be released. It doesn't, just having it isn't saying much. I had a coach, never forget my rookie year, training camp was rough. And my coach never called me by my name. His name was Al Roberts. He would go, number 18. It's like, yes, coach. He says, I want you to know something. I said, yes, coach. He says, you got a lot of potential. I was like, thank you, coach. It means a lot. He said, don't thank me. It just means you haven't done anything yet. The easier it is to be good, the more difficult it can be to be great. We allow being good to get in the way of great. We allow being good enough. We allow being a $2 billion organization to get in the way of becoming a $4 billion organization. They had a room this size of all their top salespeople. And I asked a question, who in the room knows who around the top 10 salespeople are? At least, 5 of the top 10. Almost every hand in the room went up. My next question was, how many of you would desire to be in that group? Almost every hand up. Then I asked the last question. How many of you have called them? How many of you have taken the time to go visit them? How many of you have? I swear maybe 20 hands went up. I said, this is good news. Those 20 hands, you're on your way. Because for some reason, everybody else who knows what works, people who are willing to share it, won't go have the conversation. You know what it reminds me of during my playing days? My number was 18. One of my best friends was Eddie Carter, number 81. What did Eddie and I have in common? We were on the bench, watching every single game. If you looked at the film, you would see 1,881 or 8,118. And what were we doing together? Complaining about why we weren't on the field. Talking about it, fighting it. Have you noticed complainers fight each other? It's amazing how it works. I mean, we make each other comfortable in the fact that we're all performing far beneath our potential. That's how it works. Why? Because I know I should be honoring him and finding out what he does, but I'd rather talk about him from over here, give reasons why he plays. Oh, yeah, well, I would be able to play too if I was over there. If I knew him back then, like my coach doesn't want to win, right? So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, it would be a better idea that I also spend some time and encourage each other. Can we find the ones who are doing it right? It's free information. They've paid a tuition that I don't have to. I can learn from them. As great as your success currently is, it is now your comfort zone. That's not a bad thing, but it is now your comfort zone. And my question to you is, when's the last time you felt butterflies in your stomach? When's the last time you've been afraid? When's the last time you've been really nervous? When's the last time you had to really go, whew, okay, I'm gonna go for it. If it's been a long time, that means it's been far too long. The next opportunity, the next level of greatness you're gonna experience is when you personally are willing to also put yourself in position to be afraid, to be a little nervous. Man, that's exciting. Coming alive, not getting bored. And the reason why it's so significant, every single time you go to another level, look how many people are impacted when you do. It's not just about you. Leaders in this room, it's bigger than you. Look at the number of people you all touch. So every single time you move your own performance and become more effective, there are thousands of people positively impacted. So it's beyond just you. This is the key. Ask for the feedback, get the feedback, but don't fear the feedback. I ask my wife often, honey, how am I serving you? How am I treating you? Am I treating you with significance? That's scary sometimes. I have 2 daughters, 20 and 16. Asking their feedback is scary sometimes. But the bottom line is, my actions and my decisions are only as wise as the information they're based on. If I have bad information, I'm going to make bad decisions. And almost all the problem areas in our lives are the result of bad decisions based on a lack of information. Make some sense. What I did not tell you is how to avoid uncertainty. I didn't tell you how to avoid failure, and I definitely didn't tell you how to avoid rejection. What I did was tell you how to avoid the fear of them. Because uncertainty, failure, and rejection go hand in hand with success. You all know that. So we're not talking about avoiding it, we're talking about confronting it. Hopefully this last story makes it plain. My rookie year when I was with the Jets, I'm a wide receiver. That's what I do. You guys see the size of my hands, and my job is to catch the ball. And as a wide receiver, our goal is not to get hit. But in order for me to get on the field, I had to play special teams, which meant I had to be on the kickoff team. And just so you know, that job isn't fun. Not only is it not fun, there's a parts of the kickoff team that are now illegal. Unfortunately, just 20 years too late. So I was on the kickoff team, and I was called a flyer. And my job as a flyer is to run down the field as fast as possible and split something called a wedge. A wedge is comprised of guys who are usually too big to be linebackers, but too small to be linemen, where their necks and shoulders are all tied together, and they wrap their arms together like this and run straight ahead. My job was to split that. That's a dumb job. So as I'm running down the field as fast as possible, fortunately in this particular game, the first 2, the ball went, in the end zone, another one went out of bounds. Unfortunately, in the 4th quarter, here goes the kickoff. I'm running down there, and unfortunately, the wedge is formed. I'm running right at the wedge. I look at the wedge. I sit there and think, do I go through this or do I go around it? Well, I think it was Stephen Covey who said win-win or no deal, right? So I ran straight to it, and I decided to make a left. I came around the wedge from behind, made the tackle, brought him down. It was awesome. I felt great about it. I got to the sideline. I high-fived my guys. Only problem was the tackle was made on the 40 instead of on the 20. They had a quarterback who was pretty good. I think his name was Dan Marino. Put the team in position. They kicked the field goal. We lose the game. Now, the New York media rips our coaches. They rip our quarterback. They rip all the main players until we get in the film room. My coach, who was the one who mentioned potential to me earlier, has the play on film. And he goes, guys, I want you just to watch this one play at the very beginning of the film study. We didn't watch the first quarter, second. We went straight to this. I was like, oh, man, they're going to show my tackle. Woo, I was off. What he did was he showed the whole team running down the field, and he said, I want you all to watch number 18. Me. He says, I want you to watch what happens when one man decides to do his own thing instead of doing what needs to be done. I ran down there full speed. He goes, now you're about to see something you've never seen before. How one man can run that fast and turn at a 90-degree angle. That's literally impossible unless you're scared to death. That's what I did. I came around the back, he shows the tackle, he looks at me, he says, 18, if I could cut you right now, I would. This is what's crazy. He goes, our kicker hit somebody. Our kicker even hit somebody, and look at you. Do you know what I said in front of all my teammates? I said out loud, man, I'm a wide receiver. I shouldn't have been on the kickoff team anyways. Yeah, I know, I was stupid. First thing out of his mouth was this. He goes, man, if I could cut you right now, I would. He says, what you don't understand is that you are not a wide receiver, man. You're a New York Jet. You're a football player. And leaders do what needs to be done, not just what they want to do. He said, everybody did what they needed to do, but you ran around the wedge. That moment has changed my life in so many areas. Every time I walk down my hallway, and my 16-year-old daughter is in her room, and it's time for a real conversation, but instead of making a left into her room, I run around the wedge and keep walking straight. Every single time I don't have a performance management conversation with somebody on my team because I just don't want to hurt their feelings. So I let them continuously perform at a level that's beneath their potential. Guess what I'm doing? I'm running around the wedge. Every single time I don't confront an issue with my wife, knowing good and well it needs to be worked on, I run around the wedge. I'm not meant to run around the wedge. I'm meant to run through the wedge. Fear is going through the wedge gets us to where we want to go. Is this making some sense? My question to you is, what wedge do you need to run through? What conversation is necessary? Many times a leader's success is measured by the number of uncomfortable conversations they're willing to have, not comfortable ones. And so for you right now, what's the wedge that you need to run through? And here, think about this. At the level of success you're already having, and you keep identifying new wedges, oh my God, you will reach places the majority of the world have never arrived at. But it doesn't matter. Do not let fear create any wedge in your life or comfort in any wedge in your life. Go right through it. Last thought I want to leave with you. I want to thank every single one of you. I want to thank you for what you do. I want to thank you for your level of success. But I also tell you, please, you've already done it, but please leave this place better than you found it. Pour everything that you have in you, please pour it into someone else so they can keep this thing going. God bless you. Thank you all so much. You're awesome.